Hello everyone, and welcome to an ARK video. My name is rutrine. Today's video is a little bit different, since it is getting awfully close to the release of the ARK 2.0 update. I'm here with the developers and Kamz to ask questions I got earlier from the Discord and the community posts on my channel. Anyways, let's get started with the developer interview.
All right, yeah, y'all can kick it off.
Yeah,
Oh, oh, um, I'm getting no.
Do you want to
Not yet.
alternate questions, or?
Yeah.
Well, you can go first, Kamz.
Really? All right. I think I'm gonna take the easy one. All right. So, what happens when you die in the dungeons? Like, with your items, will it count single player modes like casual or hardcore?
well, it's going to be pretty similar to survival on the island in some ways, in that, when you die, you're going to be able to take the items that you possess back with you, just like in casual mode. If you have that turned on, it'll bring back the items, except there are certain dungeon items that are locked until you finish the dungeon, and those will not go with you. So an example is if we give you like a super nice Ascendant blueprint from opening a treasure chest, you'll see that it has a lock icon in the item itself in the inventory, but also it's 0 weight. So pretty much anything that you pick up that's locked is not really going to be something that's slowing you down, and you don't have to worry about that until you finish it. So sort of a decision we made because we didn't really want to limit the kinds of loot and also force players into saving space in their inventory, if that makes sense. So the answer is mostly, except for the dungeon items. Well, everything will act kind of how you're used to.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, so my question. After running out of free runs in the dungeons for the day, how much will each Amber entry cost?
This is something that we're probably going to fiddle with, honestly. This is really about finding a balance of keeping the dungeons from being overpopulated, and at the same time having them generate some of the additional revenue that we are looking for, obviously, based on the work we put into them. But I don't think this is going to ever be like anything egregious. My guess is the first entry that costs money will be like 5 or 10 amber. I have to talk to. Don't hold me to that forever. We're probably going to set it to something like that to start and just see how things go. My biggest concern is that we're going to have these big PvP servers, and everyone's going to jump into the dungeons over and over again to try to get every single blueprint, and we won't stemmy the flow well enough for it to be fair for the players that don't have amber, or for the players who have too much time. So that's kind of, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but when we use amber in the game, we're trying to sort of balance between the players that have a lot of time to dedicate to the game, against the players who don't but are okay with spending a little bit of money. And it's hard to find that balance that makes sense so that everybody's having a fun time, everybody feels that it's fair. So that'll be something that we tweak with the dungeons for sure.
Okay, thanks. I do think that 510 is a great start, though.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is, and it'll probably, what it'll do is, I mean, each dungeon run should take a while. So, and we're talking about that number is going to reset back to free at the end of every day. So if players have time for more than a couple dungeon runs, that's going to be surprising to me, honestly, because there's just so much still to do on the island itself. But we'll play with it, and yeah, we're going to start somewhere pretty low like that.
Okay, thanks.
Cool. All right. My one. So let's just say you complete a mob road. What happens if you had to eventually get back to the same room? Would you have to clear it again?
No. The only thing that will make that mob room reactivated if someone new goes in there. Of course, you could cheese it if you were in there and they were fighting the dinos and you didn't have to. So the way that it works is if you stay in the room and someone new comes in there, it'll count you as having to do the room again. But as long as you're done with it and you pass through, it's not going to reactivate.
All right, sweet.
Okay, is there only level requirement to enter the dungeons, or does a player also need tribute items like in PC and console to the obelisk?
It's going to be just the level requirement, and then those repeat entries costing amber.
Oh, great. I honestly hate getting all those items, at least on PC.
Yeah, well, it's just one of the things is this is about acquiring items more than the bosses are on PC. Like on PC, that you can really just it's really just about the element. But for this, we've got the tech in there. We've got additional dungeon items that you guys haven't heard about. We've got the new dinos. There's just so much reason to go in the dungeon. It doesn't really make sense to gate it any more than it already is.
Well, plus the dungeons have a lot more replayability.
Right, and that's
Mhm.
going to be a big piece of it. It's you're gonna have to shift your mentality about the game because once this is out, the game will change every week, and it's going to lose a style of permanence that's going to really make those players who try every week to beat the dungeon have an advantage over those that don't. It's going to have a big impact on, if someone's been playing the game for a while, they'll have an inherent advantage that you cannot pay to win to beat, and that's something that we're really excited about. That like if someone's been playing the game for like 6 months straight, they'll have probably have the opportunity to get every tech item we're introducing. And if you come in new with $1,000, there's nothing you can do to get those tech items. So it's going to hopefully balance some of that stuff out as well.
Oh, great.
That's awesome. All right. Well, in one of your previous interviews, you said something about mob rooms having to get keys to unlock them. My question is, will we be able to, or will we need to complete special tasks or get items to enter the boss arena?
So this is up to the community managers. We do have an option in the dungeon process of creating the dungeon that we have a key and gated door that they can put in the dungeon and hide. But that's really just more of kind of a Zelda-esque single dungeon key thing. There's nothing that's meant to be super difficult about it.
All right.
Will the
Sweet.
mobile tech blueprints be different from PC and console ARK, such as require ancient amber at potent dust to craft?
We're not going to ever require amber on the tech items that you're getting through this process. I think honestly, the fact that we require some amber if you want to go into the dungeon a second time is really all the incentive we need. Hopefully, the new items, which I don't think I'm going to reveal, but the new items also do not take any amber or anything like that either. It's just element.
Okay.
That's great. Well, keeping in line with tech, we need a crafting station to craft tech.
Okay, so this is a change that we are making. So the tech replicator in the PC version is the only way to make a lot of the tech items. What we've done is we've changed it so that the fabricator can make tech items. It's just extremely slow to make tech items with a fabricator. And then when the tech replicator comes out, that will enable the players to build tech much more efficiently. So that's sort of the idea.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay, is the light debuff usable in the dungeons to help players carry more rewards to the boss room?
Sure, that's what the buffs are for.
All right. Well, will they have tech variant dinos?
So if you put what you mean is having the tech dinos that have the saddles that give them special skills, we are having to cut that because that is something that you can take back to the island with you, and we just simply don't have the memory to do it. But we are adding at least the tech saddles so that you can have a cool looking dino with better armor. But unfortunately, we don't have the special skills for the tech saddles for the dinos coming.
It's still really awesome. Let's see, can you transfer Chronicle tames across servers? If so, does that affect the revival price at all?
You can transfer them. Yeah, it's just like an implant. Once you chronicle it, it is stored. And it's just like any sort of active implant that you would take from one server to the next at that point. I mean, the real difference between chronicling and the standard revival processes is it didn't die, right? So it would be pretty unfair to charge extra at any point for that when they elected to just store their dino.
Okay.
Right. Like how many questions we have left?
I think you've got a few more minutes. We started a little late.
Alright, sweet. Well, this one's pretty easy, but been asked a lot. What happens if you crash in the dungeon? Will you respawn in the dungeon or back to the island? If so,
Good.
if you do respawn it back in the island, will it count as an entry?
Oh yeah, we want to do that to you. So if it crashes, you should end up back in the dungeon. That's fine. The game saves and loads in the dungeon just fine. It's single player, and then multiplayer. Yeah, your guy will still be there in the dungeon. It is worth mentioning that the dungeon does have a timer. So we're starting this out at 30 minutes, but that might end up going up or down based on what Jordan and Becca determine, and what the community feedback looks like. But if you crash and then you log back in and your timer has run out in the process, then yeah, you are gonna be gone. The other aspect of the timer that's worth mentioning, since that's come up, is its purpose isn't really to make the dungeon a lot more challenging. Its purpose is specifically to keep people from camping in the dungeons, since it's a PvE environment and there's going to be PvP servers where players are definitely not going to want the other players to finish the dungeon.
Yeah. Alright, that's cool.
Are the traps in the dungeon, such as the swinging axes, one-hit kills, or do they do a set amount of damage to the player?
They're all different. So there are a couple traps that are nasty traps, and then there are a couple that are less nasty. I think the swinging axes aren't very nasty; they're just cool looking. I think they do something like 40 damage, just straight up. It doesn't matter what your armor is, that sort of thing.
Okay, thanks.
Right. Well, another frequently asked question. We know after completing the dungeons, we'll get the fast travel UI, right? So where we can spawn at base or either somewhere safe.
Yeah.
Well, what happens to your dinos that you left at the obelisk?
They would still be at the obelisk where you left them. So,
all right.
I mean,
go back and get them.
We are adding functionality to one of the tech items to make it so that you can get to the dungeon from somewhere other than the obelisk, but I don't know when that is coming out. That'll be up to Jordan and Becca.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, we've thought about these little issues, particularly the PvP, these little issues. We know what's become a problem pretty quickly and what's not.
Yeah, it's more like a concern here.
Let's see. My next question. Will unofficial servers be transitioning to faster CPU just like official servers when the 2.0 update releases? Or are they staying the same?
The unofficials honestly believe Trato is constantly working on kind of simultaneously upgrading their server hardware, but also trying to cram as many nodes per server as they can in order to save money. It's one of those things that I think if the volume got loud enough for Nitrato, they might work on it a little bit more. If you guys have been having a lot of issues on the more crowded servers, it's worth letting us know, especially the partners featured servers. We can probably work with Nitrato to make sure you guys have a little bit more CPU room on those.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Like how many left?
Ask one.
You?
Oh, you
Sorry?
okay? The audio kind of clicked out right there.
Just guys can get one more question in, and then I gotta skedaddle.
All right. Well, if it's one more, any tips for the dungeons?
Oh man, so many tips. All right. Ammunition is the biggest. And then also, I know you guys really want to be the first in these dungeons and show everybody what's in there, but I guarantee you the first person in every dungeon is going to die.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'll get that.
Yeah, so maybe the best tip would be to let some people be the explorers first. If you're going to do videos on it, have a couple people that run the dungeon as soon as it's available and let you know what's in there, especially the boss. The boss, there's a couple bosses that will, I think, probably initially really irritate players when they get to the boss and realize that they are just not equipped for it. But that will, I think with time, people will figure out a good flow of how to figure out what's in there and how to adequately prepare. But really, honestly, ammunition is the biggest friend.
Cool. Thanks.
Oh, thanks. Any more questions or?
Yeah, you got one.
You go one more.
Okay. Are there going to be any new skins or cosmetics in the ARK 2.0 update? A few fans have asked me about the a potential eerie skin for the player, kind of like an Ultimacy skin. What do you guys think?
Honestly, we will definitely be introducing more cosmetic, but the video has just been so focused on getting. I mean, as you guys know, there's a lot of stuff coming in this update, and I don't know if we've got any major cosmetic items other than the tech saddles, which are a little functional, coming in. But that'll come pretty quickly, I think, after the update. After everything's settled down and we've got a good flow going, we'll definitely put more cosmetics in. But yeah, I think we've been too busy to do art on anything new and cosmetic like that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right, thank you, guys. I hope this has been productive for you and enjoying seeing what everybody thinks of ARK 2.0 in 5 days here. It's going to be fun.
I can't wait to play.
Yeah, can't wait.
Have a good one.
Thanks, you too.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.
Bye.
Well, that wraps up the developer interview. That was helpful to learn a few more things about the upcoming changes to the game, and I can't wait to run a dungeon soon. I am pretty glad the dungeons are designed a lot for the replayability in mind, especially for not any tribute items to enter. I just hope I can actually survive a few times to get some cool tech items. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please be sure to like the video down below and subscribe for more mobile content. Anyways, we'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.